Hello, everybody. It's Cindy here with Stampin' Chick Creations. I just realized I forgot to do my speed test, which doesn't seem to matter anymore because I feel like I do the speed test and it doesn't seem to make any difference. I'm still getting people saying that it's cutting in and out. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am Cindy, and I am the face behind Stampin' Chick Creations, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I am based out of Brigton, Ontario, in Canada. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back week after week. You should be able to see this video in 3 different locations right now. You should be able to see it on my Stampin' Chick Creations page on Facebook that is open to everybody. You can see it in my Cindy's Stampin' Chick Creations group, which is a private group that my customers are in. And you should also be able to see me live on YouTube, I hope. So I'm trying to stream this in multiple places. I don't know if maybe that's the problem with the cutting in and out. I can't quite figure it out. Anyway, if you're here, say hello. I see some people hopping on. It has been a Monday for me, friends. Like an absolute Monday. I was off and I thought, oh, I'm going to get so many things done. And you know what I got done? Nada. I got nothing done today. I have been running since 6 o'clock this morning when I got up, and I am exhausted. And I almost missed my own video because I was running. So, couple things. We got a couple puppies on the weekend. So, yeah. So I was adamant our family was not getting any more puppies. And we weren't getting any more dogs because it's heartbreaking when we have to put them down. And I just don't want to go through the heartbreak. But we went to see some puppies and can't see your video. You can't see my video on YouTube? Linda says you can't see my video. Is anybody else can't see my video? I didn't do anything different. I don't think. No, I did not. So if anybody else is out there, can you tell me if you can see my video or not? Because I did not do anything different. I'm just going to check on YouTube to see what's going on because that's where Linda's coming in from. So yeah, so while I'm doing that, so yes, we got a couple puppies on the weekend, which was kind of unexpected-ish. We've been looking, but not actively looking, just if the right thing came up. And I guess this was the right thing because we came home with 2. A little boy and a little girl, and not really named yet. Isn't that weird? I am on YouTube and it's not... There's no video on YouTube. I'm not sure what's going on. There it is. Okay, it just took a second, Linda, for mine to show up. Hang on, I think maybe. I'm just going to do something here. I just have to figure out. Anybody else having any issues? Oh, it's good now. Okay. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I don't see your comments coming up on my end, though, which is kind of weird. Okay, it's got to be... Okay. It's got to be the internet. There it is. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, so it's been a very busy weekend. So yeah, new puppies. They're adorable. We have a boy and a girl, and the boy we named George. He's kind of big and flumpy, and he's kind of like, like just dopey and like so we called him George. But we don't know what we're gonna call the girl. We're kind of toying between Lucy, Georgina, or Georgie. So we might have to have a vote on that. Super cute, but yeah, kind of like I had to call the vet and I had to go pick up a rental car today and I had to get my groceries done and I had a chiropractor appointment. So it's been very, very, very busy. So, and I had to pick up supper and then I got here and it was after 7 o'clock and I was like, oh no, I need to get my stuff set up and whatever. So, cutting in and out. Okay, so it does not cut in and out when you watch the video later, which is really beyond frustrating to me. But I will tell you that there are other people in Brigden that have a different provider, and they are having outrageous amount of problems with their internet provider. So it's not just me, apparently. They have a different internet provider, and they usually don't have internet at all. So I'm not sure what's going on, but somebody did tell me yesterday that Rogers apparently is, thank you, Laren, is apparently supposed to be better, maybe. So I may have to try Rogers. I may have to really seriously reach out to them. I just hate making the change, you know, like it's just such a pain. All right, so before we start, I have what I'm calling a club coming up on March 28th. And the reason I call that one a club is because traditionally it was that you signed up for 6 months, but this time around I've given you the option. You could either sign up for 6 months, which some of the ladies have done, or you can just pop in. So what that means is that you can come to whichever one you want. So last month we did the 3-sided pyramid card. It's a 3D card, video on Facebook and sound. Okay, perfect, thank you. So we did one design, but then we did it 4 different papers. So that's how we're running this one. And these ones are fun folds, so they're like a stepped up cards. They're not just your standard plain old cards kind of thing. So that's what makes this one very attractive. Okay, so if you want to attend that, it is March 28th. I am away this week for work. I leave tomorrow night, and I'm gone Tuesday night, Wednesday, all day, Thursday, and I'm back Thursday night. So if you are interested in attending that class, which is, I believe, the next Monday, freezing every 5-8 words. Okay, we'll get started. Can you please let me know ASAP so that I can get those cut as soon as I get back? Okay. If it's freezing, please come back and watch the replay and just put #replay so that I know that you're watching. Okay. Okay. Let's get started. I'm going to try to get through the first card as quick as I can, just so that you can be sure to get the layout with me, and then you can carry on if you choose, or if you want to come back or whatever. Okay. All right. So let's do this one. Okay. So I told you that you need, oh, this one I already cut. Actually, we can't do this one because I already cut this one. Let's put this one back. Okay. Let's do this one. Okay. So I told you a card base, just your standard card base. Okay. We're good that way. I told you you needed a piece of white that's 4 by 5 1/4. And so I said that, and yet I'm using Very Vanilla because the paper I'm using, it goes better with Very Vanilla. So we're going to put this here. I realized my glue is out in the room. This is awesome. And then I told you you needed 3 pieces of Designer Series paper that were 1/2 inch by 4 inches. Those are very small, but these are fantastic. This is a fantastic measurement for scraps, because we all have those little tidbits that we use, that we cut our paper from, and then we have these little bits and we usually throw them out, right? So I would like to use those little bits and make a very pretty card. So I told you a sentiment that's probably no longer than 1 inch in height. Now, in saying that, we can adjust our measurements on here to adjust to your sentiment. But ideally, it should not be more than 1 inch, because otherwise your card might look a little bit funny. Okay? All right, let's get started. You need your paper trimmer. I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute today. Whew. I got to catch my breath. Is my camera like crooked? Yeah, it's kind of like on a weird angle. Okay, so I'm going to take my paper trimmer. I'm going to take my DSP, my Designer Series paper, which is double-sided, which is beautiful. And I'm going to put it into my paper trimmer. And I am actually going to cut this down at 2.5. So for this card, I'm using all the same paper, but my other paper, I'm not. Okay, so 2.5. So if you're using paper that is different patterns, you want to make sure you know which is which, if it's not obvious. Sometimes it's obvious, right? So 2.5 is what I'm cutting this down to. So this paper here is 1/2 inch by 4, and I'm going to cut it down to 2.5. Okay? That's it. That's all we're doing. That's it. I promise. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm not going to put that there. My desk looks like a tornado went through here, actually. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take your base, or no, not your base, your white piece that I told you that you needed. And we are going to actually line this up about here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then these ones, so I want this one to go up a little bit more. So you're going to say, well, how high to the top and how much in between each, right? You're going to ask me that. I know you're going to ask me that. So you're going to use this paper as if it was another layer to your card, right? So the spacing would be like that 1/4 inch, right, to the top. And then this one is going to line up on the bottom. And our sentiment is actually going to go right there in the center, is what's going to happen. So this is going to go like this. Very super duper duper simple card. But I love the fact that this uses up the scrap so beautifully. So now this is what it's going to be. Oh, Chris, perfect. Okay, I will put you and Lisa down for Monday. Perfect. Yep, you got it. Yep, you absolutely can, Chris. I will put you and Lisa down. That's fantastic. Can't wait to see you guys. Okay, excuse me. So we're going to put our sentiment here, and it's going to go along inside. Now, this part here is kind of plain Jane, right? It is. So if you wanted, you could actually take one of our small embossing folders and emboss that if you wanted, keeping in mind that you're, depending on where your font is for your sentiment, oh, I'm sorry that I'm cutting in and out. You may have to come back and watch me later. Sorry. I'm just, it's so frustrating. So depending on what your sentiment is, you want to make sure that if you're going to emboss this, that it doesn't overlap on your sentiment. Now, if your sentiment goes all the way across, like go to greetings, let's say, right? We all know this is my favorite. So if I were to do this one, let's say this one here, right? And then this is embossed, I would have to make sure that my embossing doesn't interfere with my font, which I might actually do this as a happy birthday. So as far as a focal point, well, I could put a focal point up here. So like I could take the Cottage Rose stamp and die cut it and put it up here. I could put some ribbon. I can put my embellishments, whatever I want at this point, right? So this is a fantastic card for scrap. So I'm actually going to use this happy birthday, and I'm actually going to do this card. So let's go ahead and glue. My silicone mat, I believe, is in the living room right now, which is this lovely. Oh no, it's right here. Ha. So if you don't have a silicone mat, everybody should have a silicone mat. It should be a standard in your crafting kit. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So as far as spacing in between, I like to put them just like, you know, my technical term, an inch, not an inch, a smidge between. But you could space them out essentially if you wanted, like this. I just think the more you space it out, maybe it looks a little bit odd. Whereas this one, it could kind of look pretty cool like this. And of course you could put ribbon or whatever you want on there as well. And if your paper is, when you cut your paper, depending on how, like what paper you're using, if it has a pattern, then you probably want to match up that pattern, right? So that you can see that it's kind of a consistent. So this one, there was a spot that it's like 2 pieces that I found. Linda's coming. Yes, Linda's coming. I have you down, Linda. Don't you worry. I was being asked about you actually on the weekend, so I'm sure the other ladies will be very, very happy to see you and hear all about your trip. All right, so, so yesterday I had a class here at the studio, and it was awesome. We had sweets and and laughs, and just, it's so amazing to see what people do with this same card. I'm always in awe of that. Um, and so one of the ladies was using this Tombow, and she said, I just love this stuff. And I said, I know, it's actually quite awesome because it's, you don't need a lot of this Tombow multi liquid glue. You don't need a lot, but at the same time, it gives you enough. It dries super quick, but enough time that you can maneuver your paper if you need to. So I really like this actually. It's very, very nice. All right, so now I'm going to line this up. Now, if you want to get really fancy dancy and you really want to measure, make sure this all lines up, you could do that. I am not. I am completely eyeballing mine, which I know is not probably the best thing, because if your eyes are crooked, if you have bad eyesight, this may not be the best card for you, but I think this card, see how maybe you can tell that my patterns actually do match up there. I'm just going to actually turn this way so I can see if it's centered top and bottom. There we go. So I'm actually going to use, I think, my Early Espresso ink. So March 28th is a very, very big day for us in the Stampin' Up! World, because we are able to see the digital copy of the new book as demonstrators. And that also means that we're going to see all of the retired list that's going to come out. And makes me sad, but you know what? I think we should be able to have some fun with that information. So stay tuned. Linda! Hello, Miss Linda. So please stay tuned, because I'm going to have a fun game for us to play. So, and there will definitely be prizes involved, right? Because, well, we can't just not have any prizes. That's insane. Okay, so I'm going to do mine as a happy birthday. So I'm going to go about here, and I'm going to stamp. And I should have used my Stamparatus because my ink is not very dark. But I didn't. So there's a lesson for me. So here's my happy birthday, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this onto my cardstock. So again, I could put some embellishments here. I could actually run an embossing folder down here. I could tie some ribbon around here, which, do I have any ribbon that would coordinate here? I probably do somewhere, but I'm not going to worry about it right now because there's a honking mess in my room right now. But this is like one of those super simple, like, let's make a bunch of these, because this is a great, great way to use up scraps. So if you need just a very, very simple yet elegant card to send somebody, this card actually would be amazing if you did it in like white on white kind of thing. So the other thing you could do with this is you could, yeah, I wish that was darker. You could actually flag this if you wanted, pop it up, whatever. But you could actually make these paper and then emboss them, right? So if you have scraps of colored paper, just cardstock, you could actually just, you could emboss these, right? I was actually going to run this through my embossing folder here. But my embossing machine is out in the other room, so I may have to do that after the fact. And so is both my stamp cleaners. Okay, aren't we doing awesome today? All right, well, when that happens, you know what we do? We grab our trusty old baby wipes. So everybody should have baby wipes near them. I have 2 Stampin' Scrubs, and both are out in the living room right now because that's where I left them after yesterday, and Saturday and Sunday. So I have a class Saturday and Sunday. They were 2 different classes, and they were so much fun. Cutting out a bit, but I'm just checking out the cards. You can check out the cards, Facebook user. I'm not sure who you are because I can't tell, but super, super duper simple on this one. Okay. So I will dress this one up probably when I'm done. I will probably run that through the embossing folder. I might put a ribbon there. I could probably add some embellishments. I could actually put a strip here, like a like a flag, and if the flag it pop it up. I could put like the cottage rose on here. There's so many things I could do. Totally unprepared tonight though. So yeah. Anyway. Okay, so that's one. Let's go with this one. So this one I'm using is Fresh Freesia. So this is one of the colors that is retiring here at the end of the month, or the end of the book. I mean, not the end of the month. And so if it's one of the colors that you adore, you need to stock up. A lot of people don't realize that our colors, some of our colors are retiring. Sadly, or maybe not sadly, a lot of our colors are going to retire here because we are doing a color refresh, and I don't know which colors those are going to be, but I can guarantee you that Fresh Freesia, Pale Papaya, yeah, Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen, and Polished Pink are retiring. So what does that mean? That means that we're going to be bringing out 5 more limited edition colors for you to have, which also means that now we have 5 colors retiring. So, all right, 2.5 inches. Is that what I told you to cut this at? Okay. So if you're just joining, we are going 1/2 inch by 4 inches, and I'm cutting at 2.5. And then I'm going to do all 3 of mine at 2.5 and 2.5. Okay, so I'm going to put my paper trimmer away. I'm going to bring in my white, which is right here. I see some black ink on my thing here. There. Okay. So yeah, so if you're here, welcome. My silicone mat is now wet, so I'm just going to move that for a second. Let that dry. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put my papers down like this. This paper is very, very beautiful. And this one is the one, which one is this one? I believe this one is from the Fitting Flora. No, this is not Fitting Florets. This is the other one. Fitting Floral, I think. Fitting Floral, I believe. Possibly. I don't know. There's so many florals. Okay. So here's this one. Okay. So my silicone mat is now dry. So I'm going to put these here. I'm going to bring up my glue. So, yeah, so we had the etching, or no, not the etching. Oh my gosh, no, we did not. We had the window and vellum paper class on Saturday.